Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Potters Pundits. Now this week, it's a double header of football for the Potters where we do desperately need points on the board. We're now 4 points away from relegation, or that relegation zone, where points are huge. There's 10 games left and we want to start getting them points on the board, building the momentum of course moving away from that relegation zone. So double header, Blackburn at home and then Millwall away on Saturday. This one's a big one for me. I think at home, if we can get a real good positive result, we can build that momentum for obviously the 9 games that follow it. Obviously big Coventry game where it's a last minute winner, an absolute kick in the teeth for the boys. If we were to get a point out of it, it would have been deserved. For me, I think it is. It showed the character of the boys, showed what they're made of, and it's one where we can build off it. And obviously would have looked into this game and gone, you know what, got a great point away from home at one of the informed sides. Absolutely amazing, but instead we came away with nothing after obviously a 97th minute winner from them. So I think it is one where Mark Romney's will look to make changes. It's probably going to be not of a rotated side, but there will be rotation involved. I think there will be one where there's an enforced change with Ben Pearson, who of course came off in that Coventry game. We saw Moran and Kumas come off at half-time against Coventry to make way for Gallagher and Manouf. Did they make an impact? Absolutely they did. So will they be knocking on the door to start for this one? Quite possibly. I really do think so. I think it's one where Stoke need to be starting the game well. They did against Coventry for me. They started to create chances. Kumas had an effort that was saved. And obviously it's one where we looked bright until we then started to bring in a couple of mistakes. And then obviously the poor defending for the first absolutely changed the dynamic of the game. Obviously they scored 2 before half time and obviously went into the half the brighter or the happier of the two sides. These March fixtures are very, very busy. Very, very packed in terms of the quality of side. But with that, we can get points on the board. So in terms of starting 11, let's get straight onto it. So with that, obviously Johansson in between the sticks. Don't really need to speak much about him, if I'm being honest. I think Coventry-wise, in that game, obviously conceded 3, but don't really think there's anything you can say in terms of how he could have saved him. I don't think he could. Obviously, the first goal where it's come from a long throw, the header, I think it's a very difficult one to save. If he would have got a hand to it, it would have been a superb save. So that's one, and then obviously the one where he slots it away for their second, and obviously a last-minute winner as well. How has he managed to get a shot off? I think that's the question, rather than, oh, why has he not saved it? He nestled it in the back of the net to score the winner. There's not much else you can say. So yeah, another one where probably Blackburn will have chances. I think we will as well. Could we be called on with Johansson? Quite possibly. So if he can pull off the top saves, and then the quality from the likes of Manouf and Gallagher again, could be obviously the difference maker. So in terms of back four, defence wise, not too many changes for me. Centre back partnership of Phillips and Wilmot. I think that's our best or the strongest centre back partnership that we've got. Yes, I think it's one where you would have Phillips with someone else, and for me I think Wilmot's that best option. I think with Wilmot, I really like him. He's obviously a longer serving player, one that works hard for the team, gets stuck in and always wants to get involved and show what he's made of, and at the end of the day, play with pride, play for the top, and he's one of the top players that does that. I just think that obviously we saw in the Coventry game, there was at one point in the first half where we had that momentum. You obviously had Jono who overhit his corner, and then obviously Wilmot who, obviously, I can't remember what happened, but overhit or misplaced his pass, and that it goes for a corner for Coventry that then changes the dynamic of the game. And I think that's the part of his game that he obviously will want to improve on. And I think he's a player that, you know what, I saw the question about should we keep him after this season. Absolutely, I really do think we should, and I think hopefully they can build a nice partnership heading into these final 10 games of this season. So fullbacks wise, I think your question is obviously Chamadou on the right. I think that's obviously cemented in. He's always works hard for the team, and hopefully he gets his freedom as well. Then I'm going to go for left back wise. That's me big question for me. I think you're looking at it, is it Stevens or is it Bocat? I think in a double header of games in a week, I'm looking at it, I think Stevens will play one and obviously Bocat will replace him in the other. And in terms of which game, I'm going to go for Bocat coming in for this one, and I think Millwall away, give Stevens a little bit of a rest, and then obviously recover and maybe start in that game against Millwall. I think that might happen. It could be that Stevens starts and he plays both games, but I think maybe Bocat for this one. Could he give us a little bit more freedom? Obviously a bit more of an offensive player, which could also be a little bit of a weakness, but possibly if we go at him, have that attacking threat, have that maybe inverted wingers who then have an overlapping fullback. Could that work the best for us with the likes of Chamadou and Bocat? Quite possibly. We of course saw Pearson come off in the Coventry game with is it a hamstring injury? Well, not too sure, not too much really has been said about it. So I don't think we'll want to risk him. In this one, alongside Berger that I'm going to play, I'm going to put Jordan Thompson. I think another one that replicates how Pearson can play in terms of working hard and trying to get on the ball and really just being physical. I think Stoke need to be physical in this one. It's going to be a physical Blackburn midfield, and I think one where Stoke can show what they're made of in terms of like in that Watford game where they get in there, get stuck in and get the crowd on their side within the first 5 minutes. It hopefully is one where, right, we're then going to have the quality from the likes of people in the attack that I think could produce us that magic and get us the 3 points in this one. So it could obviously be Lewis Baker as well, another one that brings you the exact same. Maybe gives Berger, who I thought had a splendid game against Coventry, really, really good, worked his magic again. I think obviously gives him the freedom if Jordan Thompson is alongside him. So in terms of that attack, in terms of in that 4-2-3-1, saw Manu come off the bench in that one against Coventry at half time and made the difference. And I think it has been one where we maybe haven't seen him feature due to that injury being a little bit of a longer term one, and obviously the illness that was in the camp that Mark Robins has talked about. So with that, I am going to put him in. I think he will come in now. He's obviously worked his minutes up. He'll then cement his place in right wing. The big question is who plays left wing. It could be Sam Gallagher. We could see him move over to the wing to play against his former side, but I'm looking at it and I'm saying, is it Bae Jun-ho or is it Kumas? I think if Manuf is cementing his place as right winger, I think you're looking at it, it's a battle between Jun-ho and Kumas. And I think my logic behind this is, I don't mind either playing there. For this game, if you were to say that's the team and then obviously Jun-ho or Kumas are playing there, there'd be no issues. I just think my logic is I'm going to play Jun-ho. And the reason I'm playing him there is purely Jun-ho has more assists. In terms of who else I think is going to play in this side, I think that chance creation and getting the crosses into the box and maybe having a bit more of an impact in terms of on that left. In this game against this Blackburn side, who's going to have more of an impact? I think it's Jun-ho, and possibly having the option of Kumas off the bench could also work as well. Jun-ho on the left, with Manuf on the right, both creative players and both we will cut in, allowing Bocat and Shamatu to overlap them. Could that be the partnerships that we need to be creating for these final 10 games of the season? And then in terms of in that, not number 10 role, but playing in there, who played there against Coventry, having replaced Moran, I'm going to go for Sam Gallagher and then Al Hamadi leading the line. I think it's one where Sam Gallagher, playing against his former side, he'll know the little pockets that you can find and where you can have the freedom. And I think he had a great impact against Coventry, really did. Got the 2 goals, and I think that aerial threat and the working alongside Al Hamadi could work really well. Obviously, we saw Moran there playing the 10. You could have Baker that maybe plays a bit more advanced with Jordan Thompson and Berger behind him. But I am going to go for Sam Gallagher playing in behind Al Hamadi, giving us that more freedom. And I think with Manu and the likes of Jun-ho getting the crosses into the box, the height of Sam Gallagher could be the difference. It really, really could. And I think it was one where they were brought on at half time to make an impact. I think they will be resulted with a start in this one. And then, of course, Al Hamadi as well. But had a number of times where he's played in behind. Maybe that link up with Gallagher as well. And obviously your wide men could be the difference maker in this one. But more options are coming the way from Mark Robins. Less players injured, less are in that physio room, and more are obviously in contention to start. So it'll be interesting to see who starts on Wednesday. But hopefully it's a big 3 points for the Potters coming the way on Wednesday against Blackburn. But until then, we'll see what happens, and I'll see you guys next time.